Make sure it gets on the audio. Hey guys, we did it! We finally made it to the end of the week. So let's start it off right with another Best of Netflix so we can go ahead and enjoy the weekend. For action, I chose Inglourious Basterds. Who doesn't love a Tarantino film? I do have a bit of a confession about this one. When I first saw it, I really didn't like it that much. I thought I was going to spend an entire movie about the Inglourious Basterds with the Bastards, but that just wasn't true. But when I rewatched it, it was way better. I definitely loved it. I finally got all of the visuals. I got all of the story, and it was such an amazing story that it's so much fun. It's fun for Nazi Germany, I suppose. But Brad Pitt's character with his accent has to be one of the best things that I've seen in my entire life. If you watch the movie for any reason, at least watch it for that. Also, performances from Christoph Waltz is amazing. Eli Roth's Bear Jew is great. Everything about this movie is really, really fun, and you should definitely check it out. For comedy, I chose The Money Pit. Now, this one is classic Tom Hanks. This came out in like the 80s, I believe. Probably early 80s. I think after Big sometime. I'm not entirely sure. But this one's about a man and his girlfriend who purchase a house together. Everything seems great. The house is beautiful. But once they start moving in, they realize that it's actually falling apart, and they basically have to remodel the entire thing. It's a really, really funny movie. Probably one of the most underrated Tom Hanks movies I've ever seen. It's just so much fun. Like, some of this comedy that there is, like, there's always this constant construction that's going on, and the construction workers have this motto that's 2 weeks. Like, it'll be done in 2 weeks. But it's never done in 2 weeks. It actually takes quite a bit longer than that, but it's really funny overall. There's this funny moment where Tom Hanks falls through the floor. It's just a really funny movie, and you should definitely check it out. It's definitely one of the classics. For documentary, I chose a film called Blackfish. This one exposes the life of a killer whale who is in captivity now, which has actually caused the deaths of several people at amusement parks, including trainers as well as visitors. This one really opened my eyes a lot. It was really kind of breathtaking in a way, because it's about this whale named Tilikum who was captured from the sea. It's probably I think he's the biggest male killer whale. But he pretty much captured, brought into this sea land thing, gets moved over to SeaWorld. He has this whole thing with anger issues. It's pretty much like this big cover-up that SeaWorld did, and this really kind of exposes that. In a way, it's sad, but it's also very eye-opening. It's definitely worth checking out. If you love SeaWorld, I'm sorry, it may kind of ruin it for you, but it's also very eye-opening in a way. It's just refreshing, and you kind of see some things maybe you didn't really notice before, and it's kind of nice to watch, but at the same time kind of scary. Just check it out. Make your own opinion about it. I liked it. It was definitely eye-opening for me. On to drama. This week I decided to go with Training Day. Now this one is a classic with Denzel Washington and Ethan Hawke. It's about Ethan Hawke, who plays a rookie cop who goes on a ride-along with veteran cop Denzel Washington. Along the way, he kind of discovers that the veteran cop is kind of up to no good and not really doing everything to the best of his ability, or at least covering up a lot of things he shouldn't be doing. This one has phenomenal acting throughout. I tend to forget about this one a lot. I don't know why, but when I remember it, I just oh yeah, that was such a phenomenal film. The acting is amazing. And speaking of Denzel Washington and Ethan Hawke, they're actually going to be in The Magnificent Seven, also done by the director of Training Day, if I'm not wrong, which is coming out, I believe, next year. Can't wait for that one, because that one's going to have Chris Pratt and a bunch of other amazing actors in it, so that one's going to be really fun. But definitely check out Training Day in the meantime to get ready for The Magnificent Seven. Alright, now on to horror. So this week I decided to go with something that really feels like it not broke, but really took my breath away in the horror genre. This movie's called Hush. This recently came out. I believe it actually came out last year at South by Southwest, and then Netflix purchased it for distribution rights or something like that. But this has to be one of the most intense horror films I've ever seen. It's more of a thriller, but it definitely falls in the lines of a horror film. What essentially the story is that this woman who is both deaf and mute gets her home invaded by this guy who wants to kill her for essentially no reason. But this film is absolutely intense. It's filled with so much drama, and I don't know, it just makes me cringe the whole time when I was watching it. It was the most fun I've had with a horror movie with like a guy trying to kill somebody, probably since Scream. It's just like the mystery of who this guy is and what his motivation is. We don't really know why for most of the film, if not all of the film, but it's definitely a fun film. It turns the horror genre on its head, and it really amplifies everything up to an 11, and it's such a great film. Oh, and what probably makes this so scary is that it feels like it could actually happen. It takes place way out in like the woods because it's a horror movie. What wouldn't a horror movie be without a cabin in the woods? It's not really a cabin, it's more of a house. But it feels real. It feels like this guy has almost no motivation. You don't know exactly what's going on. This woman's essentially trapped inside of her house. And for some reason, it just feels so real to me. Like this could be a real scenario. Maybe not to you if you have a cabin in the woods or anything like that. But it feels like it could have been real. And that's what makes it so intense and so scary. So definitely check it out. For classics this week, I decided to go with possibly one of the best musical films, if not my father's favorite musical film, Grease, which was actually pretty much the original High School Musical. This one was about Danny Zuko and Sandy. I don't remember her last name. Please forgive me, Dad. But Sandy and Danny meet over the summer, hence the song Summer Lovin', if you watch it or know it. But they meet over the summer, and then they kind of fall in love, they separate, and then they actually end up going to the same high school, big musical numbers, stuff like that. But it was the original High School Musical. You have to watch this film. This film came out, I think, a year after Saturday Night Fever, but it's definitely a lot lighter in tone than Saturday Night Fever, but it's also a lot more fun. Saturday Night Fever is fun for the dancing and fun for the ridiculous dancing, and for the John Travolta's New York accent. He doesn't really have a New York accent in this one. He's a greaser. He still has it a little bit. But it's definitely a lot more fun. And it's definitely a lot more fun than High School Musical. This one has a lot more heart, a lot more fun. It's greasers and all this other stuff. It's definitely worth checking out. If you haven't watched it already, learn the songs. You don't have to learn the dances. That's not necessary. But at least learn the songs. And it'll probably be on your playlist pretty soon because they're really catchy. So check it out. On to the family film. I decided to go with The Penguins of Madagascar, the movie. Not the cartoon series, but the movie. This one's about the 4 adorable penguins from the Madagascar series. This one's just so much fun. I love The Penguins of Madagascar. They definitely deserve their own movie. They definitely need a sequel. I love these 4 penguins and how they interact with each other. This one's right after they get away from the Madagascar core group, really. They go off on their own adventure and get in this kind of little bit of trouble with this octopus, and what's called the North Wind helps them out, which is like a spy agency. But the back and forth between the 4 penguins and the spy agency is just absolutely fun. This definitely has something for everyone as well. It has animation, has penguins, has action, adventure, a voice by Benedict Cumberbatch.
Woohoo!
Which, who doesn't love that? This film has something for everyone. So you should definitely check it out, or at least enjoy it with the family. Finally, for the TV series, I decided to go with Parks and Recreation. This has to be one of the most fun television shows ever on TV. Sadly, it's no longer on TV, but luckily we have 7 seasons worth to watch on Netflix. Of course, this might take you a while to get through, but with about 20 minutes, 25 minutes per episode, you can binge watch it until there's dark circles under your eyes and your face hurts from laughing and smiling so much. If you can't find anything you love about this series, there might be something wrong with you. I strongly suggest that you go see your closest doctor. But this one has something for everyone. It's got so much fun. It's hilarious. There's a little bit of drama, but it's definitely worth watching. It's so much fun, so hilarious. There's so many jokes. It's constant. It's so much fun. Once you start watching one episode, you're going to have to watch the next one because it's just too funny. This is where Chris Pratt really got his start. Amy Poehler. Amy Poehler was on Saturday Night Live, but she really shined by herself on this one. Nick Offerman doing a classic character of Ron Swanson. It's just so much fun. If you can't find a character to identify with, I mean, it's near impossible. Everyone can find something they love about this show. It's just so much fun. Definitely check it out. Alright guys, that's it for my best of Netflix for this week. I hope you enjoy your weekend. Be sure to let me know what you think about these picks in the comments below. And like always, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And we'll see you in the next one.